Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here to cut through the noise, take all that information swirling around and find the real usable wisdom inside.
And we know that you, the learner, you're looking for ways to grasp knowledge quickly, but also deeply. Get that solid foundation.
Exactly. And today, we're tackling something huge, a real paradox of our time.
It really is. I mean, think about it. We're drowning in information, right?
Mm-hmm.
AI, the internet, data is everywhere, limitless almost.
You can look up anything in seconds.
Anything. But, and this is the core point from our source material today, while information is, well, common as dirt, actual wisdom.
That ability to use the information for real guidance for transformation.
That seems to be getting rarer and rarer. It's a striking contrast.
And that contrast, that's our jumping off point for this deep dive. We're looking at a timeless blueprint for learning, for growth that comes from the prophetic tradition.
Mm-hmm. And it feels incredibly relevant right now, particularly navigating, the AI era with all its complexity and, frankly, its ethical questions.
So our mission is to pull out those core principles. How do we turn this information overload into something purposeful, something that fuels lifelong learning?
And we have to start at the very beginning. The absolute foundation, the first command revealed, just one word.
Iqra.
Iqra.
Which means read, but it's richer than that, isn't it? Like recite, proclaim.
Exactly. It's active. It's not just passive reading. It immediately defines a core part of being human.
Oh,
You
yeah.
must learn. You must engage with knowledge, understand it, articulate it.
It's not a suggestion, it's a command. A destiny, almost. The starting point for intellectual life.
Precisely. It frames learning, reading the world, reading Revelation, understanding yourself as central, not optional, fundamental.
Okay, so if that's the starting point, this command to read, let's unpack what learning actually means in this context. Because the source material is pretty clear. It's not about, collecting degrees for bragging rights.
No, definitely not about academic vanity. The purpose is very specific. Guidance and transformation.
Transformation, meaning the knowledge has to do something.
Yes. It has to change you. If you learn a new skill, a historical fact, whatever, if it doesn't shift your actions, your character, your connection to your ultimate purpose, then it's just data. It hasn't become wisdom yet.
Data versus transformation. I like that distinction. It feels critical right now.
It is. And that leads straight into this powerful mandate we find in the sources.
The idea that seeking knowledge isn't just encouraged, it's
An obligation. Seeking knowledge is an obligation upon every Muslim. You see that in Ibn Majah and elsewhere. It elevates learning completely.
wow, that's a strong statement. It takes it out of the realm of personal interest or, professional development.
And puts it squarely into the realm of religious duty. It's not learn if you feel like it or
Yeah.
learn if your job needs it. It's you must learn, period. It's essential for how you function, spiritually and practically.
Okay, but let's play devil's advocate for a second. If AI can now crunch the data, synthesize information, do the heavy lifting, why is this individual obligation still so vital today?
That's the crucial question for the 21st century. Because the AI handles the data processing. But it can't, or at least doesn't yet, handle the why, the ethical application, the purpose.
So our job shifts.
Our obligation shifts. It moves from just accumulating facts, which machines do better anyway, towards generating insight, towards purposeful learning. We need to understand history, ethics, human motivation, the deep stuff, to steer the technology wisely.
So learning becomes about navigation,
Right.
learning how to apply wisdom to the tools rather than just gathering the data the tools can handle.
Exactly. It equips us for the moral gray areas, the complex choices AI throws at us constantly. We need to learn how to apply wisdom, not just retrieve data.
It sounds like a resilience mechanism, too. The world's changing so fast, skills become outdated.
Continuous learning is the only way to stay relevant, effective. This obligation, it forces you to be dynamic. It fights against stagnation, which is intellectual death in an era like this.
Okay, so we have the why transformation, obligation. Let's move to the how, the model. And this is where it gets really interesting, looking at the prophet, peace be upon him, as a learner.
Yes, because it challenges assumptions.
Yeah.
You might think, messenger of God receiving revelation. Maybe the learning stops there.
Yeah.
Knowledge complete, static.
Right, like peak knowledge achieved.
But the sources show the opposite. They show someone constantly reflecting, asking questions, teaching dynamically. His entire life was a learning process.
And that speaks volumes about leadership, doesn't it? It's not about having all the answers locked down.
Not at all. It models humility. True leadership in this framework is about creating an environment where everyone is learning, questioning, growing. It's facilitative, not dictatorial.
So the best leader isn't the one who knows everything, but the one who asks the best questions and helps others find answers.
Precisely. And crucially, how did he foster that environment? How did he make it safe for people to ask? Because that's often the hardest part in any group or company.
Yeah, fear of looking ignorant can really shut down learning.
He actively welcomed questions, even really basic ones or challenging ones. And the key thing, he never, ever shamed someone for asking.
Never shame the seeker.
Never. Because shame is poison to curiosity. By respecting the question, respecting the act of asking, he created intellectual safety. It didn't matter if you were a scholar or a Bedouin who just walked in, your question was valid.
He focused on the need behind the question, not just the phrasing.
Exactly. And when people feel safe, they open up. They ask the real questions. The collective intelligence grows.
So intellectual safety first, that naturally leads to a kind of decentralization of learning, right? But it wasn't just about asking, was it? It was also about empowering others, making them teachers too.
Absolutely. The goal wasn't just individual learning, it was propagation, spreading the knowledge. Knowledge wasn't truly yours until you could share it effectively.
Is there a specific example of that?
A really powerful one is Mu'adh ibn Jabal, when he was sent to Yemen, basically as a governor and teacher. The instruction wasn't just go rule, it was specific. Teach people and make things easy for them.
Make things easy. That's interesting. It emphasizes the how of teaching, the pedagogy.
Yes. Clarity, accessibility, practical application. He wasn't sent as just a repository of information. He was sent to be an educator, a mentor, to build capacity locally.
So the knowledge wouldn't be stuck with one person, it could multiply.
That's the model. Decentralize, empower, multiply. Success isn't measured by how much one person knows, but by how widely that knowledge is shared and actually used.
That brings us nicely to this modern idea of a growth mindset.
Right. The psychological concept believing your abilities aren't fixed, that you can develop them through effort, reflection, tackling challenges.
It's a popular idea now, but you're saying the roots are visible much earlier.
Absolutely. These prophetic principles laid the groundwork centuries ago. It wasn't just an idea, it was embedded in practice.
And there's a specific anchor for this in the Quran itself, isn't there? A supplication.
Yes, a direct command to pray for more knowledge and say, "My Lord, increase me in knowledge."
That's powerful. It's not just a general plea for help me succeed. It's very specific. Increase me in knowledge.
It basically institutionalizes the desire for growth as an act of worship. Every day you're asking for more capacity, more understanding. It embeds in your mind that where you are now intellectually isn't the final destination.
It makes curiosity and the desire to learn part of faith itself.
Exactly. And if you have that mindset, that constant striving for more knowledge, it completely changes how you see failure.
Okay, how so? Failure isn't final judgment.
It becomes data, feedback, an opportunity for optimization. The Prophet consistently modeled this resilience, this optimism. Setbacks weren't the end of the story. They were prompts for refinement.
Is there a historical example that really illustrates this, like a major setback?
The classic example is the Battle of Uhud. It was a significant military setback. There were tactical errors, a breakdown in discipline at a key moment.
A moment of failure with serious consequences? How did they process that? Many groups would just collapse into blame or despair.
They didn't shy away from it. There was analysis, reflection, what we now call an after-action review. The Quran itself addresses the reasons for the setback.
Not to condemn, but to teach.
Precisely, to educate. The lessons learned about discipline, communication, following strategy were identified, codified, and immediately fed back into how they operated. The conclusion wasn't, we are failures. It was, we learned precisely where our systems need strengthening.
So the takeaway is almost every loss, every mistake, personally or collectively, it's a curriculum.
That's a perfect way to put it. It's a curriculum designed by Allah. It contains specific lessons you need to learn for future growth.
It reframes everything. Instead of why me, it's what's the lesson here? How do I adjust my strategy?
Exactly. That ability to turn failure into fuel for improvement, that's absolutely vital for navigating the kind of complex, high-stakes world we're in now, especially with technology changing everything so fast.
Okay, so we've got the internal mindset. Humility, curiosity, seeing failure as feedback. Now, how did this translate into structures, into systems? Because, as the sources say, learning can't just be left to individual motivation. It needs support.
Right. Systems are crucial for sustainability. You can't rely on everyone feeling inspired every single day. The Prophet moved immediately to institutionalize learning.
And the primary example is the mosque in Medina. Masjid Nabawi.
Yes. It wasn't just a place for prayer. It functioned as, effectively, the first community university, an open access learning center.
Open access meaning?
Meaning open to everyone, men, women, youth, rich, poor. This diversity was key. It fostered discussion, different perspectives, faster spread of ideas.
And the main teaching method was the halakha, the circle of knowledge.
That was the core template, the halakha.
How did that work? What made it more than just, say, a lecture? How did it build a system for learning?
Well, the physical setup itself is important. Sitting in a circle promotes interaction, peer-to-peer learning. It wasn't passive listening.
Everyone facing each other?
Exactly. It encouraged discussion, debate, questioning. Knowledge was often tested right there through recitation, explaining concepts to others in the circle. It created immediate feedback loops.
So you might learn something from the teacher, then immediately turn and explain it to the person next to you.
Yes, reinforcing it for yourself and ensuring they understood. It prevents knowledge from getting stuck with just one expert. It circulates, gets refined socially.
It sounds incredibly dynamic, almost like modern agile methods or collaborative workshops.
But parallels are definitely there. Prioritizing communication, rapid feedback, shared responsibility for understanding. And beyond the halakha, look at the value placed on basic literacy.
Right. The story about the prisoners of war after Badr.
Astonishing, isn't it? Prisoners could earn their freedom by teaching 10 Muslims to read and write.
That puts an incredible value on literacy. It's literally equated with freedom.
It sends the clearest possible signal. Knowledge, even basic literacy, is a fundamental priority for building a strong, functional community. It's not a luxury. It's essential infrastructure.
So how do we translate these historical systems, the open access, the halakha, the focus on literacy into our world today? Professionally, personally.
It means consciously building learning loops, as the source material suggests. Don't leave learning to chance.
Okay, what does a modern learning loop look like?
It requires structure. Schedule time for deep work, for reflection. Maybe blocking out time each week just for learning, disconnected from email and urgent tasks. It means making things like after-action reviews, mandatory and transparent after projects.
Systematizing it, making it part of the routine, not an afterthought.
Exactly. Learning has to be designed into the system, not just hoped for.
This leads us to a really crucial point, especially for people working in technical fields today, the integration of different kinds of knowledge.
Yes. Modern society loves to compartmentalize, right? You're a tech person or you're an ethics person. You do dunya, worldly stuff, or you do din, religious stuff.
But the framework we're discussing sees it differently.
Completely differently. It emphasizes integration. Ilm al-din, religious knowledge, and ilm al-dunya, worldly knowledge, are not separate tracks. They're interwoven.
Why? What's the logic behind integrating them?
Because all beneficial knowledge ultimately serves the same purpose: benefiting humanity, understanding creation, drawing closer to the Creator. The Prophet actively encouraged expertise in practical worldly fields alongside spiritual teaching.
Like what? What kinds of worldly knowledge were promoted?
Oh, essentials for a functioning society. Trade and commerce for the economy. Governance and law for justice. Medicine for health. Defense strategy for security. Proficiency in the dunya was seen as necessary to build the stable, just environment where din could truly flourish.
Okay, now let's apply that directly to AI. We're building these incredibly powerful tools. Who ensures they're used ethically? The source material points towards taqwa.
Taqwa. Consciousness of God, or maybe better put, an internal accountability. It's that inner moral compass that guides you even when no one is watching.
And in AI, where so much happens inside black boxes or proprietary code, that internal compass becomes paramount.
It's the ultimate check. If an engineer, a designer, a policymaker operates with taqwa, they're constantly asking, is this beneficial? Is this just? Does this serve humanity? It forces them to proactively look for bias, build in safeguards, demand transparency.
It becomes part of the design process itself, not an afterthought.
Exactly. Without that deep internal ethical grounding, technology tends to just follow the path of profit or power or convenience, often without regard for the consequences, especially for the vulnerable.
Which brings us to the core synthesis, the big challenge for this generation.
It's unavoidable, really. The conclusion is stark. Knowledge without ethics leads to chaos. Think powerful AI with no moral guidance.
Scary potential.
But conversely, ethics without knowledge leads to stagnation. Good intentions are not enough if you don't understand the systems you're trying to influence or improve. You become irrelevant.
So you need both, pursued together, integrated.
That's the challenge. The simultaneous integrated pursuit of technical mastery, dunya, and ethical spiritual grounding.
Okay, let's make this really practical now. We've talked mindset, systems, integration. What are the actual daily habits, the small things someone can start doing tomorrow based on this prophetic model?
The cornerstone habit is daily reflection. Muraqabah. Setting aside dedicated time, not just 5 minutes scrolling. Real deep reflection.
On what?
On the primary sources like the Quran, the Prophet's life, yes, but also reflecting deeply on your own life experiences. What happened today? What did I learn from that meeting, that project, that conversation? Actively searching for the lessons.
Turning experience into insight and making curiosity active.
Yes, asking better questions, not just accepting things at face value. When something challenging happens, professionally or personally, don't just react. Ask, what's the underlying principle here? What system broke down? What needs to change in me or my approach?
Learning from events, not just experiencing them.
Exactly. Most people just drift through experiences. The habit here is to mine them for wisdom.
And then there's teaching. We touched on decentralization, but as a personal habit, why is teaching what you learned so important?
Because it's the ultimate test of understanding, and it makes knowledge stick. When you have to explain something to someone else, simplify it, answer their questions, that forces you to clarify it in your own mind.
You solidify your own learning by sharing it.
Exponentially. If you can't articulate it clearly, you probably don't understand it as well as you think. So learn something today, teach it tomorrow, even informally.
And tying all this together, the reading, reflecting, asking, teaching, is this principle of Ihsan, continuous improvement.
Ihsan, striving for excellence in everything. It's the commitment to make today's version of yourself spiritually, professionally, intellectually better than yesterday's version.
Not perfection, but constant betterment.
Exactly. It means viewing learning as endless. Every task, every interaction becomes an opportunity to practice excellence, to refine your skills, to deepen your understanding. It's a lifelong pursuit.
It makes every day a chance for a mini self-review. Did I strive for excellence here? Did I improve?
It's relentless, yes, but incredibly rewarding. It's the engine of self-mastery.
Okay, let's try and synthesize all of this. We've covered a lot of ground, from ancient sources to modern AI.
And what emerges is this incredibly robust structure for lifelong learning. It's built on, really, humility, knowing you don't know everything. Curiosity, constantly asking, seeking, and discipline, building the systems and habits.
And it all circles back to that very first word, doesn't it? Iqra. Read, recite, learn, proclaim. It sets the path.
It defines the human mission, in a way, perpetual growth. And the urgency today, it's palpable. In the age of AI, where information is cheap but wisdom is precious.
This kind of purposeful, continuous learning isn't just nice to have or a career booster.
It's survival. It's how you stay relevant. It's how you navigate ethically. It's faith and purpose rolled into one. Static knowledge just doesn't cut it anymore.
So we want to leave you, the listener, with some very concrete actions, things you can start doing right away drawn from this framework.
First, start a learning journal today. Doesn't have to be complicated. Just a place, physical notebook, digital file to capture one key insight each day.
From anywhere. Quran, work, life.
Anywhere. The act of writing it down helps solidify it. What's one thing you learned or reflected on today?
Second action. Structure your learning socially.
Find or form a halakha circle. A small group, peers, friends, colleagues, where you can regularly share what you're learning, discuss challenges, debate ideas, even just once a week. Structured sharing forces accountability and accelerates growth.
Okay, journal for internal reflection, circle for external sharing. And the third?
Based on Ihsan and that idea of failure as curriculum. Identify one specific weakness right now, something you want to improve.
Could be spiritual, professional, technical.
Anything. A character flaw, a knowledge gap, a skill you lack. Then design a simple, intentional 30-day plan to work on just that thing. Make it measurable. Take action.
Journal, circle, 30-day plan, concrete steps.
And finally, we want to leave you with a question. A daily self-reflection question that comes straight from the heart of this material. Use it as your ultimate success metric.
What's the question?
Ask yourself every single night. Did I learn something today that brought me closer to Allah or made me more useful to people?
Closer to God or more useful to people. Purpose and application.
That integration is the goal. That's the measure of true wisdom, not just accumulated knowledge.
A powerful question to end on. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into building a lifelong learning habit fit for the future, anchored in timeless wisdom.
Until next time, keep asking, keep reflecting, keep growing.
And keep reading.